Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Mila, I'm Ukrainian, live in Ukraine, and for more than 4 years my life has been actively connected with foreign languages. For more than 2 years I have been a tutor of German. I lived and worked in Germany for a year and a half. In addition to this channel, I also have German and Ukrainian speaking channels on YouTube, and for a month I have been learning my third foreign language, Spanish. In this video, I will tell you about specific effective methods that will allow you to develop your speaking skills in a foreign language on your own. For this, you don't need communication with other people. I do these exercises myself, my students do them, and the effect from them is incredible. Why is it so important to work on your speaking skills on your own, without interlocutors? For example, let's say you study a foreign language individually with a tutor for 2 hours a week, and you don't have any other communication practice yet, or just very little. You are at the level of A1, A2 and don't speak a new language well, or don't speak at all. 2 hours a week you communicate in a foreign language at best. In a week, 168 hours. Okay, take away sleep and it will be about 110 hours. And now think about how many years it took, how much practice it took to learn to speak your first native language. Actually, it took a very long time and much practice. And we, having 2 hours speaking practice a week, want to speak a completely new language fluently after a year. 2 hours a week for this is very little. Why do we have a language barrier? Because we have little speaking practice. But where will this practice come from if we have a language barrier and don't communicate with anyone? We people are not stupid creatures and like to talk about some more or less serious things. But when we're at the first stages of learning a foreign language, what serious things can we talk about? There are not enough vocabulary and grammar knowledge. But speaking practice is necessary because it's impossible to learn to speak at high level right away. Therefore, in order not to blush too much in front of our interlocutors for the slow pace of speech, mistakes, incomprehensible train of thought, to look decent, respectable in general, we should practice our speaking skills at home on our own so that no one hears us and we are not ashamed in front of anyone. Only when we are alone we feel absolute freedom, confidence. No one is rushing us, no one is judging us, just pleasure. Let's get to the point. The methods of developing speaking skills alone. I will tell you by points from the simplest to the most complex. First, reading, repeating everything out loud. The language should be in our mouth, in our vocal cords, and not somewhere far away in our head. It's worth using every opportunity to read aloud, repeat vocabulary aloud. Very useful is shadowing. This is a practice when we listen to a phrase and then repeat it, imitating the same pronunciation and intonation. Second, grammar training. To repeat all the grammar and train the vocabulary in 10-15 minutes, I allow this exercise. I'll show you an example. I chose one verb. Using this verb, 26 sentences were constructed on the diverse topics of grammar, from the simplest to the most complex. We just translated these sentences from our native language out loud. These examples of sentences are a template. You can also write another one. Next time we choose another verb, something popular but at the same time difficult, and compose sentences with it according to this template. For example, we see, here I need to use a modal verb. We compose a sentence. And here the past tense, and here the conditional, and here the passive voice. We create sentences with this chosen verb on all these grammar topics. We supplement our sentences with various interesting vocabulary. Third, question answer. The most important thing in developing speaking skills is to practice spontaneous speech, especially when we answer unplanned questions. There are certain websites, apps where different topics are collected and questions are composed for them. I attach a link to one of these websites in the description of the video. It is in English, but on your gadgets you can translate it to any other language. There are more than 500 different topics there and 20 questions are composed for each one. I do this exercise 6 days a week with English. I choose a topic, and for 10 minutes I answer the questions out loud. When I forget or don't know some necessary words, I try to replace them. I try not to pause, I speak, even if some stupid question comes up. After 10 minutes, I check the words in the translator that I wanted to say but couldn't. Usually I manage to remember them, but during speaking you can also write them down in your native language so that you don't forget them later. I find these words and compose the previously said sentences with these new words. Fourth, talking to yourself. We sometimes talk to ourselves, thinking about something in our native language. Try to do it in a foreign language. Speak your thoughts out loud in a foreign language. Describe what you are doing. I like this practice, although I don't do it all the time. Fifth, writing and retelling. It's very useful to write a journal in a foreign language about your experience, topics that interest you personally and that you usually communicate in your life. And then you should retell what you wrote out loud. I talked more about this in my previous videos. For example, one of my students wrote a text in German about the difference between Ukrainian and Russian languages. She said that Austrians often asked her this question and she didn't know how to answer it correctly in German. She wrote a detailed answer, we slightly corrected this text, she learned it, and now she definitely knows how to answer it correctly in German when someone asks again. You can also can check your text for mistakes using artificial intelligence, but when there are some minor mistakes, there is nothing wrong with them. In the development of speaking skills, it's very important to create your own material. You don't need to memorize other people's text, except if you're at the beginner level of learning a language. At the initial stage, it's useful because we need to get used to the principle of building this language. To achieve great, fast success in speaking, it's not enough to do only one exercise. We should combine retelling and spontaneous monologue and dialogue speaking. Therefore, along with training speaking skills alone, it's very important to communicate with real people. For example, I have no one to talk to in English, so I start with a tutor once a week. And along with speaking, there should be reading and necessarily training listening comprehension. But speaking should be a priority because speaking is the most difficult aspect, and for the sake of this, we mostly learn a foreign language. I thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Write about your experience, how you practice your training, how you practice your speaking skills in a foreign language. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!